Welcome to this episode of the Smart Leaders Sell podcast. I'm Jessica Lorimer, sales coach and leadership expert. And today I'm joined by one of the longest running members of my community, which I'm really excited about. Welcome, Natasha.
Hi, Jess. Hi, everybody. Thanks for welcoming me here.
I'm really excited to have you here. You have genuinely been in my community for what, 2 years now? Is it 2 years?
I have no idea, but since a while, since the beginning, if I can remember, yeah.
I'm like, I feel like we should have some kind of cake to celebrate this. Consider this your virtual cake giving.
Oh, yes.
For sticking with me for that long. Well, I'm really excited to have you here today because you're making a big impact in the world, aren't you? You know, the work that you're doing is very personal to women across the globe, and certainly the issues that we face as women, which can be really specific, you know, emotionally, physically, all of that kind of stuff. Tell us a little bit about you and what it is that you're doing on the day-to-day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so just like you, my business is online. It's called The Feminine Space, and I help women go through major life transitions. So those crossroads in life where you just know you don't want to repeat the past anymore. You know what it's like, but you're in this gray area where you're looking forward. You have a feeling to make change, but it's just not clear what that big career change is or how relationships can suddenly look different for you. So you're looking for that clarity. You're looking for that next step. How can I move forward? What do I have to do? How can I just get clarity and move on from here? So that's what I do.
I love that. It's hard work, but rewarding.
Yeah.
Awesome. So tell us about your question today, because you said earlier that you were having a little bit of a mind melt moment. All of the M's. So tell us what your question is. How can I help you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've listened to, because, you know, I'm in your community and I listen to what you teach. So one of the things that I've listened to you, well, it's funny. I listen to you and then I listen to my audience. So because that is kind of the homework. So I listen to them and I've pivoted many times within my business from self-love to this to that. But right now it is women who are in transition. And as I start to, you know, sell more, make a bigger impact, I realize they're going through two things. There's a group of women who are very high achieving corporate ladies, let's say. They're sick of their job, they're comfortable in their life where they're at, but they're kind of just feeling like a pressure cooker and pressure cooker, and they need to make a change. Usually it's a big career change, and they're willing to invest their time, they're willing to invest their money, they're high commitment. And so far I've been able to, you know, have these one-on-one clients, which are great, but they're very specific in that situation they're in. But then at the same time, I have all these people who also follow me, and they're in a place where, yes, they need my help, but it's those like little humps through life. And yes, they're making changes, but they're not in the same position as the first group of people. So I'm starting to realize there are different stages that my clients are in. One is at the boiling point. They need me now and they're willing to pay for it. And some people they're getting to know themselves, and yes, they need my help, but their situation is not as specific. And now I'm starting to realize as I listen to them that they're going through similar things. Some overlap. One I understand well now as I listen, but then I realize they are in a different place in life. They are different people.
Yes.
So how, I'm looking also into 2018 now, you know, it's like, how can I speak to them so they know that I'm here for them for where they are now? How can I be clear for myself for messaging and all that?
See, this is a really good question. And I think it just shows that as we move through our businesses, we change. And as we change and grow, our audience, some of them come along on the journey, some of them stay where they are, and sometimes we add new people in. When that happens, it's really important to go back to basics and almost go back to that clarity exercise yourself around who actually is my ideal client. Because when we look at our businesses and how we can help people, particularly in the personal development world, and particularly when it comes to things like major transitions, there are so many major transitions you could cover. You know, you've got the relationship breakup, you've got the relationship breakdown, you've got the career change, you've got job changes, you've got people becoming parents. There are lots and lots of major life events that can happen. However, the tools that you use to help them work through that, to help them gain clarity, to help them set the goal, etc., are always going to remain the same. So you can market that way, as in, I don't have a specific client facing a specific problem. Instead, I help people who have all of these kinds of issues, and I work with them by using specialized coaching techniques, using specific, for some people it's going to be about using hypnotherapy, aromatherapy, all those kinds of things, and bringing it in. And then your marketing focus is much more on the tools that you use and how you help them on the journey and how you help them overcome the problem. The other route that you can take is to go back and look at who is actually my ideal client though. Because if these people are experiencing some of the similar things, but actually you're finding that one group is more successful in terms of taking action, more successful in terms of hitting the goal, actually going out, achieving the clarity, etc., you might decide that those are the people you prefer working with. And therefore your marketing is about talking to those characteristics: ambitious, achievers, driven, action takers versus passive, life happens to me kind of people. And that's where your marketing message goes. Does that make sense? So you're either focusing on your tools and how you're going to get them from A to B, or who they are as people and who you prefer to work with.
Okay, that's interesting. I don't like decisions, but thanks for helping me see that, yeah, there is a decision that needs to be made. One thing that, let me just share this, because this, as you say that, this comes across in my head. Right now, I'm helping both.
Yeah.
And that's hard. Like, that's why it's hard, because I know I can help both. And one is a much, much higher end ticket, in terms of the value they get and I get too, because it's like one-on-one work and there's long-term commitment from both sides. And then for the people who are in the second category, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel, so it is okay to have, I guess, almost like two slightly different audiences, but who are on different paths?
Mm-hmm.
And currently, I see my membership as an incubator, right?
Yeah.
Because maybe sometimes a bigger moment will come and they will need to make a really urgent decision.
Mm-hmm.
And that whatever they're going through will become bigger than what it is now. So it's okay that I keep both, I guess, in a way, but hone down then in that case what it is that I offer that both can benefit from. And also meeting them, I guess, if I can hone down on the overlap of the benefit that they want to see.
What I always say to people is you can absolutely have more than one ideal client. I do. I have 3 ideal clients. I have the newbies, who are people who are just new to selling, who need basic sales help. They need to make their first 5K in their business. Then I have the people who are making money in their business, but it's not consistent. They have the feast or famine. One month they'll make 10K, the next month they'll make 2K. And they need help with solidifying their sales practice and having consistent, scalable months. And then you have the people I work with who are making 10K plus a month. And their problems that they face are very different than the newbie, right? Because somebody who's making 10K plus a month, they want to scale that to 50K a month. Their problems are going to be around automation, delegation, recruitment processes, making sure their sales funnels are consistent, etc. You have the same with your ideal clients. You have 2 in different camps. Don't worry about trying to find an overlap. Worry about being consistent with your marketing message. So for example, if in Q1 of 2018, you are focusing on those women who are the career women, who are looking for the higher touch premium experience, the one-to-one stuff, your messaging in Q1 all needs to talk to that person. Hey, if you want one-on-one help, if you want support guiding you through a challenging career decision or, a challenging process between you and your partner, I'm here, I'm available. This is how you can book your discovery call with me. This is how you can work with me. And then in Q2, you might decide, well, actually, I picked up a lot of people in Q1 in my audience who couldn't afford the one-to-one and actually would be great fits in the membership. And that's when you pivot your message slightly and you focus on those people. Hey, I know that you want community support, you want accountability, you want other people who can really help you on the journey, who can keep you accountable, who can support you there. this is the membership, this is for you. So do you see that they're slightly different messages, but actually they pick up the right people and they pick them up where they're at right now.
Okay, that's really great because that makes complete sense to me, because in terms of, I'm so sorry saying this publicly, but who I would love to work with is people who are at that point in their life who are willing to do what it takes now, you know? And that is the people who are that at that point. So the first group of ladies, right?
Yeah.
And what you mentioned, okay, that's perfect, because I have in the past gotten many no's from people who I've proposed to, or many sales conversations, and they just can't afford it. And then now I really have this like little incubator with my membership that where they can still get my help, but just not to that intensity. So I think you really helped me to screw my head on straight, and I should focus on that. But that doesn't mean that just because they don't fit that mold perfectly that I can help them later on.
No.
Or that they're not willing to receive or whatever. I can still be able to give them something. It just may not be that perfect, most intense, help that I can give. Okay, that's
exactly. And kudos to you for saying, oh God, I don't want to say this publicly, because it does. Admitting that we want clients that are going to pay us the high fees isn't easy. And honestly, it's the hardest bit about sales, especially when we're selling our own businesses. And I find that women typically have this problem more often than men do. And that's because as women, we sell from an emotional level and we connect on an empathy scale. Yeah. So we're always thinking, okay, how does that person feel about the price? Oh God, is it too much? Is it going to be taking food out of their children's mouths? Is it going to be causing a massive family issue? Or is that okay? Whereas men don't sell in that way. It's not to say that men don't have any empathy. It's not to say that men don't connect emotionally, but men have what we call single focus thought. And that focus is usually directed at the goal that they have. And if that's a financial goal, then they're not so worried about the other areas and the other kind of emotional stuff that may come into that. So yes, it's hard to say, I want to sell premium services. In no way discounts the fact that you will, throughout the course of your business, help many, many other people.
Right.
Doesn't discount the fact that you will have lower ticket services from time to time and higher ticket services from time to time. What it does is makes it much easier for your ideal clients in both areas to know when you're talking to them and when the offer is for them, and when actually it might not be the right fit right now, because you can help them self-identify. Yeah. When you're saying, look, for the one-on-one work, I'm looking for people who are prepared to solve this problem right now, who are prepared to, set aside the next 2 to 3 months to really get clear on their goal, to really have that plan of attack, to make sure they're taking action on helping themselves move through the transitory period, versus I'm talking to somebody who wants to do something but maybe doesn't have clarity around what they really want to change yet.
Yes, that is it. That is it. Yeah. Yeah. One actually can, I guess that motivation component. Oh, really interesting that you say that. The first group does have motivation, not just because they have the resources to work with me, but because something is clear enough that they kind of feel the pain of not doing it more.
Exactly.
Well, if something is very ambiguous, the second group's like, oh, I can just hang around and just figure out what this feeling is all about. So that is like another piece to further, I guess, hone in on the group that I am able to help, like right now, like with the biggest impact. That's a really good thought. Can I ask you something?
Yeah, of course.
It's something also I learned from you. This is great. This is like a review of all that I've done, and the homework I've done. Okay. And which is the part you talk often about: sell what people want, or saying that they want, and give them what they need.
Yeah.
So as I listen, I'm able to now be like, okay, they're here, and this is the process that I can help them through. Step 1, they need to heal themselves so they can help others. Step 2, find out what's missing, or that, that life purpose. Step 3, follow that freedom so they can actually make it happen and follow their heart. Mm-hmm. Now, what I hear them saying is something very different, which is, I have this fear, I have this doubt, I can't decide how to move forward. B, what is my greater purpose? And C, can I live from this? Very different. When I help them and give them what they need, they just take that natural next step and they're able to solve what they're asking for.
Yeah.
So right now, I feel like I'm holding like two boats.
Yeah.
One, I'm so comfortable with because I know I'm good at that. I can give them that. And a part of me is almost uncomfortable saying to the world, I'm the expert of, I don't know, say, making a big change and knowing that you can make a living from that, because a lot of it is such inner work. It shows in their career change. And eventually, they do live from that. But I don't label myself personally with what they want. Do you know what I mean? So how do I deal with this with my messaging now?
I think there are a couple of things. So one is to accept that sometimes we have to say what people want to hear in order to get them on the right track. Okay. Think about it in terms of, and I always put this one out there is the weight loss. If you were 30 pounds overweight and you went to a personal trainer and he said to you, yeah, I mean, we can take the 30 pounds off of you, but it's going to take you 6 months. You're going to have to eat rice and chicken at every meal. You're going to have to get up at 5 a.m. You're going to have to go for a run. You're going to be like, oh, no, I don't really want to do those things. Even though you do want to lose 30 pounds, you just don't want it to sound like a chore. Because realistically, everyone knows how to lose 30 pounds. Everyone knows how to sell stuff. Everyone knows how to make an offer, write a marketing spiel. We might not be experts at it, but we know the basics intrinsically because humans are smart, right? If, however, you go to a personal trainer and you're 30 pounds overweight and he says, yeah, sure, I mean, it's going to take us 6 months, but, at the end of that 6 months, we're going to lower your cholesterol. We're going to make sure that you are fit and well. You're going to be able to run around with your kids again. You're going to look great in your wedding dress. Like whatever the reason is, you're not going to be focused on all of the drudgery in between. You're focused on the end goal. And that's what your audience needs to see is the end goal. So they need you to step up for them and say, yes, changing your career, creating a business, making a living from it, eminently feasible. In a year's time, if you have complete clarity, if you have a great strategy, absolutely, you will be on the beach in Barbados, sipping Mai Tais, not an issue if that's what you want to do. What they don't want to hear is, okay, in order to do that, yes, okay, it's possible, but you're going to have to do a ton of inner work. It's going to be uncomfortable. Then we're going to have to look at these things. They don't necessarily want to hear that bit because that's not the sexy bit. That's not the bit they want to imagine for the next year. They want to be focused on the end goal. So we have to keep that top of mind. It doesn't mean that you're out of integrity doing that. And I know that sometimes it can be uncomfortable when we say sell them what they want and give them what they need.
Right.
It can feel like it's out of integrity because you're thinking, well, am I selling them a pipe dream? The answer is no. If you are 100% believer in your work and the outcomes you can achieve, and you know that if they put in the work, they will see those results, then no, you're not selling a pipe dream. It's totally in integrity and it really will help them. Okay. So that's the first thing. We have to look at the impact that we want to make and being able to say to them, yes, these things are possible for you. Yes, you're going to have to do some work, but in 6 months, a year, whatever, that's going to be possible, right? The second thing is the easy bit about being an expert, if you like, is that we have this area of expertise. I can get on the podcast, for example, I can do one of these guest slots. And I was saying to Sam earlier, I was like, yeah, I love recording the guest slots. And he said, why? And I said, well, A, they're really good fun. I get to teach people stuff. I get to help people. But also, I don't have to do tons of work. I get similar questions throughout my business every couple of weeks, hence why the podcast was born, right? So for me, it's like doing another coaching session.
Right.
And actually, that's simple. That for me, not so much work, don't have to write a ton of stuff, get on, answer the questions, go and have a cup of tea. That's a different skill set to being the salesperson in your business. It's a different skill set to being the marketeer in your business or the accountant in your business. being the expert is the fun bit. That's the fun bit for you. So when you're talking about these two boats, it's like you have the one boat that's like the party boat where you're chugging tequila shots and eating the great food and bouncing off the side and swimming. And then you have the other boat that's kind of like the ferry that takes you home. That's where all the boring stuff happens. Okay. It's where the stuff that you don't find as interesting. And I think for you, mentally, what needs to happen is there needs to be a reframe around, if I do more of the boring stuff, i.e., if I do more of the selling, more of the clarity around my ideal client and start bringing those people in, I'll actually spend way more time on the party boat.
Right.
Means to an end. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that totally does.
Yeah.
Can we just, I mean, I know you can go faster and faster, but I need to slow down a little bit and just kind of absorb everything that you shared with me. So can I just kind of go through in my mind everything that I've learned? Yeah. I feel like my brain is just, when it comes to this, it just spins a bit slower. So the first bit about the two audiences, right? Or just clients on different stages of their journey. I'm going to focus on the one where I know I can make the most impact, the ones who need me now, the ones who I know I can make the biggest change with straight away.
Awesome.
I'll dedicate my messaging to where they're at, and then just get those conversations going, right? And then for those who can't afford it or for whatever reason can't work with me at that intensity, we'll incubate them. We'll have a safe space in my membership to just hold that space, give value until they're ready for that bigger leap, right? So that's what I'm going to do there, and that's what I've learned. And then for the second part about giving people what they want versus what they need. So one I'm really comfortable with. So here I feel like I do have to do a bit more homework. I think I need to sit down again and look at how do they want to, I know what they want to feel, where they are at now, how they feel now, the frustrations they have now. But I think I need to get clear on that change that they're looking for. I think that needs to be clear for me.
Good.
Because maybe one of the reasons why I'm not so clear is because I don't have that vision like so clear at the moment. Therefore, I then start to sell the features or, the airplane, right? So I think I really need to sit down and be like, how can I change their life? Let me write it down. Let me see how I have changed people's lives. Let me see it and then know that I can communicate that to them.
Exactly. Exactly that. And I think that's so powerful. I mean, I'm really fortunate. A little while ago, probably 4 months ago, I wrote out my mission statement. And I wrote it out and I put it in the Facebook group, Smart Leaders Sales Society. And I put it in there, and one of my biz besties, Heather Gray, sent me a parcel a couple of weeks later. And it is literally my mission statement in my brand colors. And it's all in beautiful calligraphy. And it's now hung up on my wall. And I love it. Absolutely love it. Because every day I come in and I go, who do I work with? And I look at the mission statement. I look at the characteristics of the people on there. And I look at the ways that I can help them change their sales process, help them change their businesses, help them change their lives. And every day it's like that physical reminder of, this is what I'm here to do today. And so when I go out and sell, I'm looking at that. And I'm looking at, okay, what is it that they want to hear? What is the pain that they're going through right now? What is it that they're really struggling with? And what do they want to see on the other side? And when you have that, it becomes much, much easier. The other thing I'd recommend for that kind of thing is to get a client smile file. I don't know whether you do this. I have it on my desktop, and it's a little folder, and I call it my client smile file. And every time anyone says, Jess, this is how you've helped me change my life. This is how you've helped me do something. This is what I've learned. I screenshot it and I put it in the file. And whenever I'm looking back for things, for sales pages, it's not just about having testimonials. It's about looking at, what did that person really struggle with? What was their breakthrough moment? And what was the biggest thing that they took away? And that's what goes on your sales page. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that all help?
That does. Yeah. It's really funny because when you're in the middle of it, you just see all the in-betweens.
Yeah.
And then when someone is just looking for help, they're just looking for that like, like speaking, like we've been talking about boats the whole time. So if someone's looking to step up onto the pier from the boat, they're not looking for like the rope or the, they just want to be on the freaking land. Like,
Exactly.
like, can you stop telling me about, I'm going to offer you a hand or a rope or a little helicopter? Like, I don't care. Get me on land. I'm getting seasick. So just gotta see the world from their eyes and be like, okay, where is that land? Like, where is it that they want to just be now?
Exactly. And if that is in 6 months' time, they want to be a decision maker. They want to know if they're leaving their job, starting their business, getting into a new relationship, breaking up from a potentially traumatic one. That's what we need to focus on. Mm-hmm. They need to become, and really, I don't think, this is unsolicited, but I don't think it's the transitions that you need to focus on.
Right.
In terms of how you sell. I think it's looking at the type of person they need to become in order to successfully navigate that transition, right? Because everyone's coming to you with different things.
Yeah.
The one thing they all have in common is that it takes a very specific person to take action on a problem and solve it. Mm-hmm. And so that's what they're looking to become. That's their land. I want to be the Jess who makes $3 million a year. I want to be the Natasha who goes out there and makes the decision and holds strong on my boundaries. Yeah. I want to be the strong, independent person that can successfully navigate career changes, life changes, relationship changes, and know that I'm going to come out the other side totally fine. Does that make sense?
That does. Can I bring it back in? Because this could be really crucial. Mm-hmm. Because I'm telling people, because this is what I do. I help people in that gray zone, right? Like at the beginning, I said, like, is that time of transition? Is that then, in your opinion, the wrong place to position myself? It's where they're at now, because we keep talking and we keep bringing it back to, the land, where they want to be, the change. Am I positioning myself in where they're at right now? Of course, they're going to relate to it and they understand what I'm saying. But am I focusing so much, even in like my title, in how I just introduced myself? Like, am I just describing them now in like the next 5 steps versus, the final? Yeah. Uh-huh.
I think the big question for you, and probably the starting point, if I was you and I was creating my mission statement and looking at that kind of stuff, would be, who do I need to become? Not what. Because for your ideal client, it's who they need to change into, not necessarily the transition that's important. Does that help?
Yeah, because I'm going to be holding their hand through the transition. Like, that's where I will stand, but where are they standing? Because no one wants to take that hand and go onto the pier if they don't want to go onto the land, right? So they need to very clearly know where they want to go. And when they have that, it's natural that I hold their hand through that process.
Exactly. And that's exactly, for me, I think that's where the click starts for your clients. It's not about, I don't know what I'm doing or worrying about multiple outcomes. It's about knowing intrinsically as a person that they can get through whatever life throws at them. And that's what you're there to help them do. You're there to help coach them through that. You teach them the strategies, teach them the coping mechanisms, the decision-making skills, boundary setting, all of that stuff, so that it doesn't matter what life throws at them in 5 years' time. They'll look back and go, yeah, I know how to deal with that. That's cool. That's what you're giving them. Lifelong skills.
Yeah, no, absolutely, because everyone goes through changes many times. Are you sure you're not a life coach?
Well, nope. I'm like, definitely not. Nobody in their right mind would want me organizing their lives. But I honestly think that's it for you. I think that's where the niche really needs to go if you think about it. And I can't remember who it is that asked the question, who do we need to become? But I would probably start your clients there.
Interesting.
Because once they answer the question, who do I need to become? Like you say, the next natural step is, great, you need to become this version of yourself. Here's how I can help get you there.
Yeah, there's a process. We're not there yet. Let's do it.
Exactly.
Beautiful. You know what I'm excited about, Jess?
Mm.
I'm going to do my homework and I'm going to like tag you in the Dotties group. I'm going to go on a Q&A. I'm just going to like give you feedback on what's going to happen next. This is really exciting. I'm really happy that I made, you know, like we have that relationship where I'm able to just keep learning from you and take action, get feedback, and you know, it doesn't stop here. I know for everyone listening, it stops here. You won't know what's going to happen, but
Natasha's leaving on a cliffhanger here, guys.
Yeah, the real stuff's going down in the Dotties.
I'm really excited. Like, honestly, please do it. Tag me in there, and you know, I'm always going to be around in there to give feedback and stuff anyway. But if there is a lady listening today on the podcast who is thinking, actually, I'm going through a major life transition, where can I find Natasha? Where's the best place for them to get in touch with you?
If you're a Facebook kind of person, then head over to femininetribe.com. And then over there, just like, you know, how Jess and I mentioned, you can also tag me there. And I'd love to meet you and help you out where you're at right now. And since this is a podcast, if you want to check out mine, just, you know, iHeartRadio or iTunes, wherever you're listening to this podcast from, just search Feminine Space Podcast, and then you can just tune into my channel too. So enjoy that.
That is amazing. And all the links from Natasha's show today will be in the show notes as well. So if you are looking to connect with someone, and honestly, Natasha is truly, truly an amazing and gorgeous human being, please make sure that you go and connect with her over in her Facebook group, over on her podcast. And if you've enjoyed the show today, make sure obviously you hit the download button, you hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss another episode. Feel free to leave us a little review. Let us know how we got on. If you want to ask Natasha any questions about her experience after the podcast, I am sure you can go and catch up with her on Facebook. Thank you so much for being here, my love. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Jess. And you know what? I just want to say to everyone, because I've worked with Jess one-on-one, I'm in her group, and she's the same. Like this type of like full-on giving, twisting my head back on right. It's like business chiropractor, like clink, clink, clink. And then I'm back on track until like I need another realignment. But but she's the same and everywhere. And all that I've learned here is like what I get with our work together one-on-one and within the Dotties. It's just consistent. So I just want to say that because I'm so honest, and this is just my experience with you. And I think
really
you should know that.
I'm like having a big old smile moment over here. I'm like, oh, so nice. Well, thank you, honestly, for being part of the community, for coming on today, for being so open about your questions, and for, you know, sharing so much with us. I really appreciate that. I know that everybody else will too. And if you guys catch another episode on Monday, I will see you there. We'll be talking all about festive frolics over in the Tooth Lorimer Max household. That'll be next Monday's episode. I will see you on the recording.